Hello and welcome back to Crusader Kings II. This is the second video of basically Holland taking over the world. When we played last time, we basically got into the game and set up our initial state, took care of the issues that we had pressing at the start of the game. And now we're ready to go. And before I get going, I already loaded up the game, but I just want to show you sort of where we are at the beginning. Okay, so here we go. This is a picture of independent realms. So we're part of West Francia. We're right here. And these are essentially the realms at the highest level. So they're the kingdoms and the empires. And in certain cases where stuff is fractured, these are all duchies in here. But anyway, we're up here. And then, so there we are. We're right here, and we're right here. And the rest of these are all just either parts, they're either counties, or, like in the case of these three, they're held by King Carl, so they're not actually independent counties, there's no count for them. Of course, these are the kingdoms. Here's the religion, where the religion stands. Okay, so these are all Germanic. This is all Catholic. The Sunnis and other guys, Orthodox guys, are over here. Tengri's out here. Slavic is here. So basically, we're in the Catholic realm of, as far as religion goes. And then as far as culture goes, if I zoom in here, you'll notice that Frisian culture is all right here, and we have to get independent. Otherwise, this will turn Frankish because we have a Frankish ruler. It takes about 100 years, though. So, but anyway, with that in mind, we have one vassal who is this Frotari guy that we made the Prince Bishop of Sticht. And I think we're ready to go. So let me just click play. So today we're actually going to run the game. And then we'll see basically what happens here. So here we go. We have a couple of things that we're waiting on. We're waiting on a law to pass, which will increase our domain size that we're allowed. We are waiting on a marriage proposal, and I think that's about it. So, with that in mind, let's get started. So we're going to unpause this. Okay, and right at the beginning, we got a message that somebody usurped the title from somebody else. That's inside the kingdom, but not really that important to us. So now we're waiting. We can increase the speed to make it go faster. Okay. So here's our first thing. To the glorious Duke Ansem, may you live in harmony and contentment. I accept your suggestion for you to marry the princess. Okay. So then these two got married. Yay! Now, whenever the ruler gets married, and I know it's the ruler, I'm not sure if it's like the heirs, but occasionally you can collect a royal aid duty, which is used to pay for the ceremonies. So you can basically tax people extra in order to pay for the ceremonies. And a lot of times these dialogue boxes will come up and give you a choice of what you want to do, and of course your choice affects things later on in the game. So here's the royal aid duty, and if you collect it, of course you get more money. You get 53.76 gold, which would be really nice. That would make a nice treasury for us to start with. Or we can say no, respect people's wealth, and people respect you a little more, so you get more prestige. 100 prestige is pretty good. That's a nice jump. That essentially doubles our prestige. But the gold is really nice too, and a lot of times it's a matter of weighing whether you want the gold or you want the prestige. I got a decent upgrade in prestige. I started out at like 32 or something like that. So I think I'm going to skip on the prestige. I'm going to take the gold. So we'll take the gold. Okay, so Duke Ansem had the ambition to get married. He got married. So now we have to pick a new ambition. So, okay, we'll pause to pick our new ambition. Now if I click on this, I get two new ambitions. One of them is to have a daughter. One of them is to have a son. I want Duke Ansem to have a son. Although technically speaking, it doesn't really matter because our succession laws are agnatic cognatic. So if he has a daughter, that's okay too. But let's go with having a son. Okay. Something else happened too, which is if I look in laws, no, it hasn't happened yet. Why? Okay, so here's what happened. Duke Ansem got married to Princess Anselperd of Lombardy. Fantastic. You'll notice that the base values are the same, of course, because, you know, he hasn't improved any of his values, but like this value, it's higher, and it's higher by 3 because we're taking half of excuse me, we're taking half of her values. So half of this and half of this and half of this and half of this and half of this, and we're adding them here. Spouse plus 3, spouse plus 4, spouse plus 6, spouse plus 2, and spouse plus 5. That's one of the benefits of getting the leaders married, is that all of their state values go up. So what happened was our state stewardship went up by 6, which was a pretty good jump. So that means over here our domain size went up by 1. So now we have 6, and we're supposed to have a maximum of 5. Which is good. We're getting closer to actually just being able to hold all these counties. Let me switch this back to independent realms. Isn't going to help us. These are the de jure duchies. De jure is, there's two elements in this game. De facto, which is what is, and de jure, which is what it's supposed to be. So these are de jure duchies, okay? Gelre, right here, is supposed to be a duchy. It's not, okay? But it's supposed to be. Um, this is supposed to be the Duchy of Luxembourg. There is no Duchy of Luxembourg. There's a Count of Luxembourg, which is my half-brother. Um, and he has Jülich in Luxembourg. um, and Liège is independent, and Lune is independent. So, but these are what's supposed to be. And these will change as the game goes on. Same thing with kingdoms. Later on in the game, this will be the Kingdom of France. But for right now, it's West Francia, Middle Francia, East Francia. And I don't even think there is an East Francia right now. It's just Middle and West. So anyway, getting back to this, excuse me, we have all of these, of course, counties. We don't have this one because we gave that to our only vassal. But all of these counties are under our control. And, of course, we're the Duke of those counties, too. We could hand those counties out like candy to people, and then our vassals would essentially control them. But there's an advantage to holding on to lots of your own counties, and part of that is a military reason. And we'll get to that in just a bit when we talk about military. But anyway, let's keep going. Okay, somebody has founded the Independence faction. Here we go. The Lords of Holland have approved the institution of the low centralization law. So basically, that law that we proposed to them, they accepted. Cool. So now it's 6 of 6, and we're okay. Now, all we need is for this guy and his wife to make heirs, children. Kind of hoping that this family focus helps with that. Oops, something just happened. And I'm going to pause the game just for a second. Actually, you know what? Let's let it run. So something just happened, and it's a military thing, and I'm involved with it. Oh, that's not good. Okay. So, here's what's happening, first of all. Let's deal with this first. So, somebody started a war, and it's Bavaria and East Francia. They're starting the war over a county called Chur. So, Bavaria declared war on East Francia. Okay. Well, East Francia's, one of their allies is King Karl of West Francia, who we're a part of. So every single time we're part of a war, we get these war score icons with a war score percentage at the bottom, which tells us how we're doing. As battles happen, and as sieges happen, excuse me, as sieges happen, this score will go up and down, depending upon who's winning the war. When the war score reaches 100% on either one side or the other, they can enforce a surrender. And then whatever happened, if the winning side wins, then they get whatever they were fighting over. In this case, Chur. If these guys win, they get to keep Chur. That's essentially what happens. So that's why all these armies just suddenly showed up. One of the things that messes people up when they first start playing the game is that if you have raised levies, if you have your armies raised, you cannot declare war on anybody. You have to declare war first, and then raise your armies, consolidate them into larger armies, and then go attack somebody. There are exceptions. There are military units called retinues, which you can have raised, because they're sort of always there. You can have them raised, but that's only if you're a king or an emperor, usually. So that's that. Now we've got another bit of a problem. And here's the problem. Our spy master has discovered a plot where King Carl seeks to revoke the county of Brabant. Okay, so let me say okay, and I'm going to pause just for a second. So here's the county of Brabant. Okay, and I'm in control of it. The king, who is my liege, okay, has started a plot under intrigue, okay, has started a plot where he's going to revoke this county from me. Okay, so here's the plot. King Carl of West Francia, okay, is the person who started the plot. And the target, unfortunately, is me. And it's to revoke the county of Brabant, which basically means that he's trying to take this by force. He's going to fabricate a bunch of claims using intrigue. And if he gets a high enough plot power, he can actually revoke it. Okay, so far the plot power is 26.9, which is not a lot at all. Now, what can I do about this? There's not a whole lot I can do about this, except if he starts getting backers, I can try to dissuade them from backing this plot, and eventually, hopefully, he'll just give up on this. But in the meantime, I'm just going to have to take a look at it. Also, under intrigue, there's a bunch of decisions that I can do. Some of these are time-based. So, like right now, I can't hold a feast because the month has to be at least November. So it has to be November or December. For a summer fair, the month has to be between May and August. I can borrow money from Jewish merchants, which is kind of very helpful. It's sort of like a panic button. If bad things suddenly happen, then that's sort of like a get out of jail free card. I can present a holy man, a noble, or a debutante in court, so I can increase my court by paying either money or piety. And that's useful. I can buy an indulgence for my sins, which increases my piety. Founding a new kingdom, I can't do yet because I have to be an independent ruler. I have to have prestige. This is if I want to create a kingdom out of nothing. If I have enough territory to claim it, I could claim the kingdom of Frisia if I'm independent. But if I wanted to carve a brand new kingdom that nobody's ever heard of before in Holland, the Kingdom of Holland, I could basically do it if I pass all of those conditions. So anyway, so that's known plots. Here's where I have all the people that I'm holding prisoner, and here's the list of threats. These are threats from within my own vassals. These will list the vassals that are under me that are thinking about revolting or whatever. So, okay, so let's continue. You'll notice that all of the West Francian armies are on the move, and they're basically consolidating themselves into one large army. This is sort of the way that armies get built. They come from all of your different counties. And they consolidate into armies. Well, this is very good news. Duke Anselm's wife is pregnant. Fantastic. You get 5 prestige for that. Okay, so in 9 months, we'll have an heir. So hopefully we don't die within the next 9 months. Okay. Oh, boy. My spy master's very busy. Peace be with you, I've discovered a plot where Count Adjernald of Jülich seeks to kill Aldebert de Friesland. Okay, I know who these guys are. Here's another plot. This guy, who is your half-brother, wants to kill your other half-brother. Okay, here's the thinking behind this. If this guy kills this guy, then if I die, he gets all of his titles as well. He'll be the only heir. The kingdom won't, the duchies won't get split up between the two of them. They'll just all go to this guy. Okay? Do I want that to happen? I don't know. I'm not sure I really care about that, to be quite frank. Let's just let it go. I don't think there's much I could do about it anyway, because he's from outside. He's not one of my vassals. I can request, if I right-click on him, I can request for him to end the plot. But he does not have to pay any attention to it. In fact, if I do this... Oh, he actually will. Based upon his opinion of me. I'm not sure that I really care, though. Uh-oh. Let's pause just for a second. King Carl right now is creating titles. So before he created the title of, if I go back here, to here, he created the title of the Duchy of Normandy. Now he just created the title of the Duchy of Luxembourg. This is kind of interesting because if I go to look at him right now, here's Normandy, here's Luxembourg. Now he can keep those titles if he wants to, but he may also give them away. Yeah, that's not good. Let's take a look at that plot. Okay, he still doesn't have any backers. I'm wondering if I say end plot. Yeah. his opinion of me is not horrible, but I think he just wants that. He wants that county. It's interesting that he didn't say that he was going to revoke the duchy, although that may be a part of it too. So, factions. Let's talk a little bit about factions before we go any further. Factions are consolidated blocks, like voting blocks, within a particular domain. Okay, here's the ones for Holland. Okay, thankfully there's no factions. Factions are bad because they're basically like, well, we're going to try to force. We're going to try to force you, force the leader to do what we say. So these guys are going to try to force King Carl to say, okay, we're independent. This guy is trying to change the succession law. So factions are bad. I can start my own faction in West Francia if I want to. I can join factions if I want to. So anyway, so that's what the faction thing is all about. Let's go back here and switch this. Yeah, like that. Okay. So yeah, this guy's creating he's carving out the duchies that he's creating. So let's keep going. So as we're waiting for stuff to happen, time is running. These guys are consolidating their armies. You'll see that right now there's this huge 3,600 man force that's heading down into here. You'll notice also that in the war we're winning. 49%. There's already been a battle in Chur. Here's another one. Okay, and once this one's done, there's another one. The war score goes up. If I hover over here, it shows me all of the different things that are affecting stuff. For this, how, where the war score is essentially being generated from, which is kind of important. Over here, something's happening. I'm pretty sure that this guy is attacking this guy. He's trying to take over stuff. So while we're in here, and we've got the clock running, let's look at our intrigue again. This is, plot power went up by a little bit. He might have sent his spy master in here to increase his plot power. If you remember, if I go to my counselors, I can send my spy master someplace to increase the plot power. So he may have done that. So far things are looking good. This is what our military looks like. Okay, so I have a new heir. And this is the notification for it. If my character dies right now, we'll play as the kid, Arnul, who was just born. So, let's click OK. And here's the cool thing. Let's say you don't like the name Arnul. You can change it. I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it as it is. So a son was born. So, okay. And then I have fulfilled my ambition to have a son. Okay. You'll also notice that the title succession thing has gone away. That's because all the titles will now go to the son. Okay. So let's click OK. Let's pause. Click here. Go to ambition. Now what do we want to do? Okay, now it gets interesting. I can desire to become the Chancellor of West Francia, or the Marshal, or the Steward, or the Spymaster. I could become exalted among men if my prestige is 1,000. I could have a daughter. The ambition could be to have a daughter, or to become the King of Frisia. Now, this is my ambition, but I'm not sure that I want to lock myself into that ambition yet. It's interesting that the one ambition about making money, getting 500 gold, is actually off the list. And I think that might have to do with the fact that I'm family oriented. So let's have Duke Anselm's ambition to have a daughter. Because daughters are always nice too, because they can be used to make alliances. Essentially, marriages make alliances. Speaking of allies, here are my allies. The people in green, the ones that have the green reasoning, I can call to war. And you'll notice that I can't call the King of Lombardy to war, because he's of a different social level than I am. I'm not an independent realm. If I was the Duchy of Holland and I didn't have a liege who was trying to take my stuff away from me, if I didn't have a liege and I was independent, then this would be green. Ironically, then this would be red, because he's not an independent realm. So he's an ally, but he's not an ally I can call into war. He is an ally I can call into war. So, okay, so let's let the clock run. So, let's check this out. Still 34.7. Eventually, if he does not get any backers, this will go away. He'll just stop trying to do it. Right now, I'm just waiting for this guy in Loon. Oops, pause. My half-brother has joined this plot. Or he's being asked right now. Let's continue this. And he joined. Okay, so now the plot power. That's interesting. The plot power is 43%. That's it? Okay, I'm not really too worried about that. I am very annoyed that my brother has joined the plot, but it's not doing him a whole lot of good. So, okay, I'm going to pause at this point. And I have to take a little break, and then we will be right back. Okay, let's continue. We'll unpause the game. So, okay. So, these little random events pop up every once in a while. So, after giving my advice on delicate matter, The courtier asked me to accept a small gift of gold as thanks for my for thanks for my help. Okay, so I can accept the gift reluctantly, or I can say, wasn't my advice worth more than a couple of pennies? And basically what this does is that these pop up in order to give you the opportunity to get more traits. Okay, so here are the traits in question. I have charitable, which increases my diplomacy and my church opinion. Or I have greedy, which increases my national tax modifier but lowers my diplomacy by 1. Now, realistically, either one of these is good in different ways. Sometimes there's one that's absolutely horrible, and there's one that's really good. And if I select these, I'm not necessarily getting them. There's a 45% chance that I'll get charitable. There's a 70% chance that I'll get greedy. So which one do I want? Do I want the +3 in diplomacy? My diplomacy is kind of low. I mean, it's okay. +3 would make it 12. That would be kind of nice, because then this would be, gosh, that would be a lot. That would be like 38 or 37. The national tax modifier would increase my taxes. That would be kind of nice too, actually. But I'm actually doing pretty good. So let's go with this one. And let's see if this actually shows up in here. Okay, Stuart Bishop Gerhardt probably did not think I'd notice a few coins missing here and there, but the steady disappearance made me suspicious. Might it be that the gold is disappearing into Bishop Gerhardt's greedy hands? Okay, so I can say, question him. Okay, or I can say I don't care, which has an 80% chance of no effect, 10% chance that I get slothful, which is not a good trait, or arbitrary, which is not really a good trait either. So I'm going to question him. Found some more evidence that he had stolen his money and confronted him with it. He confessed and begged me to be just when punishing him. So I can just forgive him, which gives me the arbitrary trait. I can tell him, I can imprison him. Okay, so then he becomes my prisoner. Or I tell him that he has to pay back the money that he stole. Excuse me. Well, I think that he's going to pay back the money that he stole. So, we get that extra money that was normally supposed to be there. Okay. Let's take a look at our intrigue. Okay. This is still 43%. 43% is still pretty low. So, okay. This is continuing. How goes the battles down here? Ever since I write, you're going to get these every once in a while too. These are special events that happen from your counselors doing their actions. So right now, the marshal is training troops. This is the benefit. You know, so right now the levy reinforcement rate has gone up by 50% in addition to the amount that it normally goes up from him being there. So that's good. Okay, right over here, the army of King Carl is sieging this territory. And you can see the little siege engine there going off. There's another one right down here. You'll also notice these dashed lines. that basically means that he's occupied a portion of this territory. And if I look at the panel that pops up, he's occupied 2 of the baronies so far. I don't know how many there are. There's 3. 1, 2, 3. He's occupied this one and this one. And right now he's sieging this one. Okay. So the most illustrious Duke and son, the good burghers of Dordrecht, are barely able to pay their taxes. Our coffers are empty. I humbly ask that you lower the taxes for your cities. So, I could say, this is an absurd request. And all of these guys' opinion of the Duke changed by negative 20, which is not good for 60 months. I could say very well, and this mayor guy is overjoyed. And so his opinion of me changes by 40 positive for 6 months, which is really good. But then we vote on minimal city taxes. Right now, if I look at my laws, city taxes are normal. This would go, city taxes are normal. This would go to minimum. So, yeah, they would be overjoyed. And you'll notice that these are locked for me right now, because I can only change a law every 5 years. So I last changed the law on January 25th of 769. I gotta wait until January 25th of 774. These don't count. For these ones, that's somebody coming to you asking for a change, that can always happen. That's kind of a problem every once in a while. So we can bribe him, and it says this option is available due to your high stewardship skill. I lose 53 gold, and he's satisfied, because of course, dropping money into people's pockets basically shuts them up. Or I can flatter and soothe him. These are options available because of your high diplomacy skill, and he's impressed, and he basically goes away. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, this is why it's nice having a high diplomacy skill or a high stewardship skill. It gives you extra options in those. Okay. Your commanding presence in the battlefield was felt during your recent victory by friends and foes alike. You bolstered the spirits of your men. So, songs will be done this day. I gain 100 prestige for being awesome on the battlefield. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Now, you're probably wondering, what battlefield are you on? Well, if I go and look, I am currently age 50 and I'm leading troops in Niederbaden. Okay? What happens is, when we go to war, it's the King's War, and he's leading an army too, but somewhere in the midst of things, I'm leading a battalion of guys somewhere. Because when my liege goes to war, I'm one of his nobles, so therefore I'm leading the levy that comes out of Holland. And yes, you can die in battle and get maimed or crippled, or all sorts of bad things can happen, so it's sort of part of the risk of going to war. Right now, we are in Niederbaden, so I'm part of this army right here. That didn't tell me anything about the army. I'm not sure if I can click and get information about this army. No, see, I can't. And clicking on the flag goes to, that country, so it's not very helpful. Oh, the Duke Duke's wife is pregnant again. Now, this could be a good thing, or this could potentially be a bad thing. If it's a daughter, it's a good thing. If it's a son, then we have the issue where we're going to split these two duchies apart again. And, you know, that we'll have to just deal with that. If this guy actually lives long enough, I want to switch to primogeniture. But I can't, because the Kingdom of West Francia does not have high or absolute crown authority. That's really kind of annoying. And for ultimogeniture, which is the youngest child inherits, it needs to be autonomous vassals. I could make it an elective monarchy, but that's absolutely horrible. Okay, so a son was born to Prince Bishop. These people. I don't know who these people are. Oh, this is my courtier. Oh. Who's the Prince Bishop dude? Let's, we're going to pause just for a second. So apparently this Prince Bishop Romat of Trier had an affair with my courtier, who is dead because she died in childbirth. That's very sad. But this guy is now a bastard. He's out of wedlock. And he hasn't been legitimized. The other trait that he has is quick, which is actually a really great trait. But this guy is now in my court. So that's actually kind of interesting. Helibad von Holland. Von is the honorific, not the honorific, but the thing they tack in from the names to indicate where they're from. So it's Helibad of Holland. But potentially I have the power to marry him off because he's in the court. So it's interesting. Okay. Continuing onwards. It's just a strange message. Okay, so let us check our plots. This is still the same. My dear husband, Princess Ansperga, that's a bug. That should be my dear wife. Blames my confused head for the poisoning. Wait. Stop. My dear husband, Princess Ansperga, blames my confused head for the poisoning. He seemed to think I believed the poison was a miracle cure for his son's illness. I will let him believe that. What? First of all, this is a bug, I think. I think this is supposed to say, my dear wife, Princess Anselberger, blames my confused head for the poisoning. I don't know what the poisoning... I think... she may have poisoned... Blames my confused head for the poisoning. Let's say this is she. She seems to think I believe that the poison was a miracle cure for her son's illness, and I will let her believe that. I knew I would get away with it. What am I getting away with? I don't understand what I'm getting away with. Let's click this and pause just for a second. Okay, this guy's still alive. It was a really weird message. She's still pregnant. That was a really bizarre message. Because I hadn't planned on killing anybody. It wasn't like I plotted to kill anybody or anything, so let's go back here just for a second. He's still alive. I don't understand what that message was. I think that was a bug. Which happens rarely, but it does happen. So let's keep going. Okay, let's pause for a second. I got 380 gold, which is actually quite a bit of gold. So I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to improve things in Holland. So you're probably wondering, well, I got all this gold, what can I do with it? Well, one of the things that I use gold for, of course, is hiring mercenaries. Because you can get a lot of dudes to show up at your command. If you have the money for it. Even one of these guys is enough to balance out the fight, because I'm coming in with about 2,000, and another 1,500 would be quite good. And that's only for 150, and a monthly cost of 10 gold per. So that's one of the things, but 380 is quite a bit, especially considering that I can borrow 300 if I absolutely positively need it. So one of the other things that you can do with all this money is that if you click on territories, right, I can right click with the county capital. No, that's not how you do it. If I click on the county capital, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so I have all the stuff that's in green is stuff that I already have. And this is the capital of Vlardingen, and I can build anything. Like I can build the barracks or the militia training ground, and it gives me added stuff. These two in particular, give me more levy troops. I can build stables, which increases my light cavalry. I've already got stage 1. I can upgrade it to stage 2. I can upgrade the keep, which increases my levy and garrison size by 10% each. I can increase my castle fortifications, which gives me better defense when I'm under siege. I can't build castle walls because I need improved keeps, which is a technology. I can't build castle town because I need to have castle walls. And then these guys I can't build because I need either technology or I need castle walls. So, and then I can click through here to go to the next holding. Okay, and that will show me at each of these places what I can build. And back to here. So I want to start building this up because this is my core holding. This is my capital, essentially. So what do I want to build? Castle fortifications is cheap, but I also want to increase my military too. And I think want to create the militia training ground. So, now this is being built. Okay, you'll notice I took the money away. The other thing is now I've got construction running. So if I go to my counselors, and I go to my steward, as opposed to researching economic tech, I can have him oversee the construction, which reduces the time by about a third. That's pretty cool. So let's do that. Okay, and now he's overseeing the construction. If I go back into here, and I click on this, okay, this is now going to finish early. Okay, it's going to finish, I think it was 300 days, 319 days or something like that. It's now probably going to be 200 and something days. So, okay. Let's continue onwards. Let's check the intrigue too. Oops. Let's pause. Something happened. Okay. Holland of the West Francian Revolt has declared West Francian civil war of elective monarchy on King Carl. Okay, so here's what happened. Remember that elective monarchy, elective monarchy faction? They got enough people to join the faction. And so what happened was, they went to the king and said, "Yo, king, we want you to switch your succession law to elective monarchy." And the king said, "No, I'm not going to do it." Well, when you say, "No, I'm not going to do it," then essentially you have a civil war. And the people who were part of that faction, if I drag this out a little bit, okay, these guys right here, these guys right here, and this guy right here were part of that faction. So they are the rebel faction now, okay, and they're going to try to win a war, which is this one. And if they win, they force the king to switch the succession law over to elective monarchy, which is basically, out of the list of heirs, the dukes and counts directly under him, that are direct vassals under him, get to vote on which of the heirs they want to see on the throne. It's an absolutely terrible succession law. Because you have no control over who your heir is. But anyway, not my concern. What happened was, now the king has levied the troops, and there's a certain number of troops that I, as a duke, have to provide to him. And there's a certain number of troops that I have to provide to him. And look, I'm actually running them. I'm actually in control of them. But I don't have any control of them because they are the troops that the king has levied for this civil war. When I go to war, like, I'll get levy troops from this guy. He won't be in control of them. I'll be in control of where those troops go because I'm the liege that has declared the war. So even though I'm in charge of this, I'm at the head of this army is being commanded by my liege. You know, the guy who's trying to take this away from me. So, okay. Now you'll notice that they're fighting in here already. Oh, and we're auto-saving for another year. So they're fighting in here. And the rebels are losing. And the rebels lost. They just retreated. So, as you can see, it's already 7%. Anyway, so I think what we're going to do right now is we're going to pause. It's February 1st of 771, and I think this is probably a good place to stop. Right now we're in a pretty good spot for stopping. A bunch of things happened. We're actually in fairly good shape. We still have to get the this claim settled over here, but we're actually in a good stopping point. So I'm going to save the game here, and I'm going to stop the video. So hope you had fun watching, and I will see you next time.